All right, everybody, welcome to the November 2024 Idea Share. My name is Beth from Key Ministry, and this is just an opportunity to connect with our fellow disability ministry leaders. So does anybody want to start with either what you have going on or whatever you want to share?
I'll share.
Okay.
Since I'm starting, it's like a Zoom thing like this.
Okay.
It's called Conversations in Prayer, and it's for parents or people affected with being different, as I'm calling it now. I changed my mission statement recently to add. It's a little bit different now, and my board loves it. I love it too. But we're going to have the first one's going to be about the holidays and how, not to survive the holidays, but just to have ideas like what you can do. Like, even people that have friends that have differences, they can come to these. And the other aspect is have prayer time. Since my ministry is focusing a lot on prayer, it's very important for the parents. So we launched the first one, and my friend Erin, who's an OT in North Carolina, is going to be on the call with me. So hopefully it's not, I don't know how it's going to go. Hopefully, I pray that people are impacted by it well. So
That's great. Thank you. So is that on your abnormal missionary website? Is that how
it,
you can find out about it?
I'm gonna put it on there this week to
Okay.
start it. I'm trying to figure out. I know the date. I'm trying to figure out the best time. Like, that's always the hardest
Yeah.
date. So on a Saturday, I kind of want it maybe before lunch or maybe right after lunch to see how. I asked my friend Kim, who is part of Access Ministry in Maryland, to
Mhm.
come and use their group as like guinea pigs
Mhm.
to see what they're going to ask. It's basically people can ask me questions like how holidays were for me as a child, how holidays are for me now, and stuff like that, just to have it from somebody who suffers. And then Erin, she's like a clinician in a way, in the sense she's an OT, to help. She's like, when we were in Ukraine and you were answering these parents, I use these answers and I tell my other OT people because it's different than what the doctors are telling them. So,
Mhm.
so I,
All right. Well, thank you. That sounds really interesting. And it actually reminds me of, I'll make a little announcement. Our disability ministry video roundtable for November. So it's a conversation kind of like this, but we always have a specific topic is, I forget what the title is, but it's basically how churches can help come alongside families during the stress of the holidays.
yeah,
That's not the title, but that's basically the idea. So
I think the more
that
the
is,
merrier.
yes. So
And then
that is, oh, go
yeah.
ahead.
Yeah, so my new mission statement is abnormal missionary exists to glorify God by encouraging and engaging churches, businesses, and nonprofit with the need and the opportunity to serve through those who are wonderfully made different, but not less.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Very cool.
I was just like, I kind of like the old one, but it was really kind of pigeon me into just the mental health issue, which I have bipolar, but I also have Asperger's.
Right,
And I'm
right.
not going to pretend to know everybody's walk. But yeah, I'm very excited about this conversation and prayer thing. And I think the more the merrier that different people have because there's different perspectives everywhere. So,
That's great. Thank you. All
well,
right. So that you could check that out on abnormalmissionary.org,
yeah,
.com,
.org.
.org. And then the other thing I mentioned, the Disability Ministry Video Roundtable, that is Wednesday, November 20th at noon Eastern Time. And if you're not already getting emails about that, go ahead and sign up on our events page. So keyministry.org, click on the event and sign up there. And then you'll get the notifications. All right. Thank you, Linda, for sharing. Who would like to go next? Yes, Sylvia,
I'll go. I just want
who
to
was the
piggyback.
first person on the call today. So
Anyway, I just wanted to piggyback with what Linda's saying is we do a prayer group for our parents, and we meet on Thursdays at 12:30. It started out to just be from 12:30 till 1 o'clock, but it ended up now from 12:30 till 1:30. And sometimes we go over, depending on what the conversation is about, what the prayer request is about, what people are struggling with, accessing resources for them, just, giving them what they stand in need of at that particular moment. So
Is that like a Zoom, is that a virtual type thing?
it's
Yeah,
virtual.
yours is too? Okay.
Mhm.
And are your parents that are, participating, are they like your local parents or are they from all over?
They are primarily local parents, and it's not just our parents now. Some of the volunteers who support the parents are now logging in as well,
Great.
because we talk about all topics, and as they struggle with trying to be positive supports for the parents, particularly as our participants are aging, just knowing how to support the parents in their support, in their lack of resources for, it gets to be a cumulative kind of thing with them, that it's just a struggle sometimes.
Well, thank you for what you do. Thank you for offering that. And yeah, that's good information. Thank you. Who else would like to share today? I want to see Barb's dog again. Oh, so cute. Yes, Andrea.
Get it to unmute. So we are in our church as a whole, we're doing a big building project right now. And as a part of this building project, our teen and adults are going to have our own dedicated space,
Oh, wow.
where we'll have, our own specialized equipment, and adult size changing table, all of those things. So I'm working right now on figuring out what we're going to put in there and how we're funding it. And so I'm looking for different grant opportunities to apply for. If anybody knows of anything, I've applied for Johnny and Friends. But if you know of anything else that, helps do this kind of thing.
Yeah,
I'd love to know.
I can tell you that Ability Ministry does have a grant for the universal size changing tables.
I did that and we got it.
Okay,
So
good. Yeah, our
that
church did
200,
too.
you're talking about the one that's $200 after you.
Yeah.
I did get that. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the other one. I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anybody
That's
knows of
fantastic.
anything
Does
else.
anybody have any resources that they would like to share with Andrea?
Andrea, where are you located?
We're in Cape Girardeau, Missouri.
We have recently discovered FUDAC. It stands for something, FUDAC. They take in everything from bedpans to power chairs, refurbish them. I don't know about bedpans being refurbished, but they do. They go back out to folks all over the world. And as a for instance, when we toured the place, they were refurbishing what I would think was a $50,000 power chair. The fellow doing the work was in a power chair. And that chair would probably go out to somebody if it was appropriate for them. I'm guessing for $500, and that would be the cost of batteries and things that they had to buy to put in them. They have shipped things all over the world. I'm sure that when the storms came through Florida and Georgia and North and South Carolina, that a bunch of equipment went out for folks that need it. I will confirm that it's FUDAC. I'm doing that from memory, but depending on the equipment, we're close enough that we can go pick stuff up. We are becoming a place where folks who have used equipment, and we have some stored already, but we have an agreement with some folks that we can store it for Food Act. They'll come and pick it up. They'll take the responsibility for repair and refurbishment, and then it goes back out to the folks that need it. That's all kinds of medical equipment. One of our families got what I would call a sit stand. Mama was at an age where she could not transfer herself, and at 5'2", 220 pounds, she was more than family could handle. So they were able to get a hospital grade piece of equipment, and all they did was go pick it up. And just wonderful, wonderful folks. And one of the groups that we are beginning to have a relationship, a collaborative relationship with, and just loving it. Our folks are bringing in equipment for them to refurbish, and our folks are taking advantage of equipment that has been refurbished.
I love it. So for those of you who don't know Skeeter, he is with David's Table. And I love that you're a parachurch organization. You're not a church, and that's part of what you want people to know. You still want people involved in the local church, but they're a parachurch organization. And I love that you're collaborating with resources in the community to help to help families. And I love that. So thank you for sharing that. In the chat, Andrea shared with Andrea, two different Andreas, about potentially checking out the Lilly Endowment for grant opportunities. And the website is listed in the chat, and we will post that link with when we post this on our Vimeo and YouTube channels and on our website. So thank you. All right, anybody else want to share either potential grant opportunities or things that Andrea R. needs in her new space, or we can move on to another topic?
The National Christian Foundation may be a source.
Okay.
I'm in Minneapolis, and they have particular focuses given your given state or area. But the National Christian Foundation they use donor advised funds to go back to the community.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that.
Is there a book called the Red Book that is a listing of foundations? And it gives you information about where they are, what they give to, what geographic area they serve. There is a book like that, and I think it's called the Red Book. I'm willing to be mistaken about the name of it, but I know there is a resource that will tell you about foundations and where they give and what they give to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. Who else? Barb.
Okay, I have a different question. So what we have been doing just recently is we're in what I call conference season, where we've been going to conferences. And we have started going to conferences outside of disability ministry conferences. So the people we are mainly talking to are in other types of ministries or a lot of lead pastors. One of the exciting things that I've seen as we're talking to all these other people and telling them what we do is they're asking a lot of questions about how do we get disability ministry into the seminaries and into the Christian universities. So I know some people who are actively taking some steps in that, but what I want to ask is, for other denominations and other people, are there other seminaries that have started doing this as like a program or adding classes? Are there Christian universities and other denominations that are doing this well? Because we're feeling that people want it now, and we want to help guide them in how to do it well.
All right. Would anybody like to I know the answer is yes, that there are some, but I'm not 100% sure I can say it correctly. So I want to see if somebody else here can share. Nobody.
Well, I would think Baylor with with Eric.
Yeah, I mean, Baylor is definitely one of them.
Liberty, isn't Sandra teaching some
Yep,
classes at Liberty?
Liberty is one.
Mm.
Wheaton is one.
Can I
Yeah,
ask you a
I
real
mean,
quick question? So on those that are doing it, are they doing just a few classes, or does anyone have like, you can get your degree in it, or do we know what the programs look like?
we don't have the right people on this Zoom. There are people that 100% know this information, and I just don't want to say the wrong thing.
If you find out, Beth, if you
Yeah.
just email me, what
Yes,
I'm
I
trying
will.
to do is when people ask me, I'm trying to hook them up with the right people. I know
Mhm.
Sandra, so that's
Yeah.
usually who I send them to first. But if there's other schools that are already doing it and doing it well, I just think we should all learn from each other.
Mhm.
I know
Yeah.
when I was researching about starting seminary, there was only one seminary that I found that was doing a degree program. And I think it was through the Reformed Church of America, which is not my denomination. I ended up not going there, but they had a degree program. I'm at Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, and they are not offering anything yet at that seminary. But that was the only one I found at the time that had an actual program. Now that may have changed because it's been a couple of years since I was looking.
Right. Thank you.
That's a really good question, Barb. And I mean, it is so important. And I think, oh yeah, Steph Hubach. Yeah, good call, Allison. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Yeah, good one. Yeah, and I feel like this is changing. And so probably any information we had from 5 years ago probably is no longer accurate. So, okay. Yes, I'm writing this down as something to research, and I will definitely let you know. Joel is sharing that what he found about Messiah University in Pennsylvania provides a minor in disability and family wellness. And the program emphasizes hands-on learning within a Christian framework, preparing students for careers in various disability support and advocacy roles. Oh boy. Okay, hang on. Mississippi College offers a Master's of Education in Special Education where students learn to integrate Christian principles with special education practices. This program aims to empower future educators to support students with disabilities in both academic and spiritual growth. And then Al is sharing that Western Theological Seminary in Holland, Michigan has certificates, masters and doctorates in disability ministry. And Joel says Colorado Christian University, CCU, has a master's program in special ed, which includes options for licensure, non-licensure, and endorsements for those already in teaching roles. CCU emphasizes practical training and is aligned with the Christian perspectives of serving students with disabilities. All right, so it's out there. But yeah, I think, yeah, let's research this a little bit more, and so that we can share this information with other people. Thank you very much for bringing that up, Barb.
Yeah, thank you.
Young Life Capernaum has approved Western for its workers. Okay, good to know. That's the Western Theological Seminary in Holland, Michigan. Thanks, Al. All right, who else would like to share or raise a question today?
So I'm new to the format. Are we sharing ideas that we're trying to approach our pastors, our churches?
This could be anything. So this group actually started in March of 2020. And for a while we were meeting, we were meeting weekly for a while. And now we meet monthly, and it's really just an opportunity to like brainstorm something, or like if you're excited about something, share that. Or sometimes, we just need encouragement, and this group is great for that. So What do you have, Joel?
Well, I just recently sat down with one of the pastors at our church for how do I support parents? My wife and I felt pretty isolated bringing our children through youth group. And so they said, well, it's really interesting. You're about the third or fourth person that's bringing up disabilities and neurodiversity. So we're paying attention and we're super interested. So we're working our way through, it'll probably be in the fall, but what does it look like to support parents, not just within the church, but within the community at large for a night where they can come and ask questions and not feel isolated and use it as a outreach, leverage it as outreach if you have neurodiverse children and you're feeling isolated. So nobody knows what that looks like yet, but I did put him in touch with Ryan Wolf. He's somebody that can help us navigate what this might look like. So we're just having those conversations. And I outlined a bunch of thoughts with timetables, etc., so they had something to work from. And I could send that to you as a PDF. I can't post anything in the chat here. So if you're interested in that, it would help you with framing how I asked the question or what I was thinking. So
I love it. So are you thinking of an ongoing support? Like you're not talking about one event, you're talking about
ongoing support.
Ongoing support.
Whether that's weekly or monthly or what's that look like. And during our conversation, which isn't necessarily in this, is how do we leverage this? And I could add that before I send it to you, if you want it, is how do we leverage this for a community outreach? Because people need support, period.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. And what a better way than to minister to them.
Right.
So if do you want that?
I would love that. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Let me add the other part to it and I'll get it off to you.
Yeah.
And I
That'd be great.
stripped the name of our I'll strip the name of our church out of there, so it can just be a general.
Okay. Thank you, Joel. Is anybody else working on something along those lines? Same as Joel, like a family support kind of thing? I know we've talked about, Barb, what do you have
Okay,
going on?
so we Wonderful Works are not doing that, but our denomination is just doing a pilot program for that right now. It's a little bit different than what you're saying, Joel. This is not so much a community outreach as it is more of an in-reach, because a lot of our parents that go to churches can't do small groups like everyone else because of the childcare. And so we were trying to figure out, is there an online component to make sure those people still have Christian community? So they are just starting that. I'm not in charge of it, but I could hook you up with who's working on it. And I think we got a lot of help from the Meekins when they were starting.
I was just going to say, where are the Meekins? Because this sounds right up their alley. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Allison.
Hi there. So, Joel, I was just going to show something very, very small we did with our church, just as a sort of starting point that has really helped our church. And I've been able to suggest it to other local churches who don't have a disability ministry, but it's something they can do for their community. Was just once a month, we have our disability families come together for lunch. We all eat together. We have some volunteers that will then be with the kids. And then the parents get to spend some time with a couple who had a child with disabilities who passed away as a young adult, maybe 15 years ago now. But they know what it's like and they can offer support together, because we're very fortunate. I'm fortunate to have taken over a ministry that was already up and running 7 years ago. And they've always been able to provide good support for the mums. So we have a weekly Zoom meeting, we have a monthly in-person meeting, but trying to get the dads together was always tricky. I mean, I tried the online Zoom with the dads with just me. It was always fun. So this was a way, because it was straight after the second service, this was a way of dads already being there. And because it was hosted by a couple, that's really pulled them in. And then what's lovely is this couple, we've run it now for nearly 2 years. And we must have spent a year before this just trying to figure out when and how to do it with all the childcare versus this seems to have been a really good sweet spot of encouraging those that can't always come every Sunday to make this their Sunday to come, making sure that the 2 campuses that we have, the families actually know each other, because that was another thing that was like, families on one campus might know each other, the others, they all meet at respite night, but you know, one kid's running one way, one's going the other, and you're kind of like, hi. But what was really lovely was the couple that host it invited the families to come to their house for a meal one respite night. And one of the mums' feedback to me was, in all her years of being in small groups or trying to be in small groups, this felt the most like a small group for them. And just the connection, the community that they've made, and their daughter's now 17. So it's pretty organic, but it was simple enough to be able to start there at least. But as I say, that purpose was just for sort of connecting the church families together. And what I love is 3 of my regular single mums now all sit together in the church service because they know each other enough to be able to be like, no, I'll save you a seat, you come and sit. So there's sort of, it's very small, but it's meant a lot to the families just going forward.
So thank you, Allison, for sharing. And so I have, and Linda, I know your hand's up, so I'll call on you next. But so I thought you've talked about the lunch thing before, and I, for some reason, thought it was just a summer thing, like it was outside in a field. For some reason, I had this picture of outside in a field.
So that was the one-off we did this summer, because everything seems to fall apart around here in the summer. Everyone goes to the beach. I mean, I got to work out transferring everything to the beach for the summer. But so one of our volunteer families who he had a sibling who was a quadriplegic and wheelchair bound, their family farm, they hosted a luncheon for everybody there. And it was just I opened it to my respite families, my family support families. So it was like a social for the families to come together. I didn't invite any volunteers purposefully so that there wasn't the assumption of somebody would be looking at it. Was, we got to do this together, guys. But
so this is so what you're talking about, the
is
lunch
a regular once a month from September through till sort of July.
And for that, you are providing childcare, like you have volunteers who are.
Yeah. So what we do is we all eat lunch together. So it's a little bit chaotic at lunchtime because everybody's kind of got eyes on everybody so that we know where they are, but we're not specifically doing activities with them at that point. And then after we eat, the parents, so it's sort of, we get together between like 11:45, 12, eat until about 12:30. Then the parents go off for like 45 minutes, and we, myself and as many volunteers as I have available, will then look after the kids in that space. And we usually just play games, just hang out, watch DVD. It's nothing
and what do you
structured.
call this? What?
I think I've landed on family community support. I think the first 10 emails probably had something different each month, and they're like, what am I part of? But yeah, family community support or family support community.
Okay, because I've been trying to think through something for our church and just haven't quite figured out how to gather the families at a time that would work, and how do you provide like so
that. And that went round and round. We were going to tether it to Re-engage that we were doing, which was our marriage ministries, so that we could invite the families to that. But then it got
but then you've got the single moms.
Great, and that didn't seem appropriate either. So yeah, that's what we've been doing. As I say, we're going into our sort of 3rd year of doing it, and it's been really, really fun just to watch the families get to know each other, and they're bringing up the topics of what they want to discuss and how they want to, what resources and things they can share together.
Okay.
That was going to be my question, is what's the 45 minutes entail, and how did that come about?
That, for the very first year, was just very organic of, hey, who are you? Where are your current struggles? And sometimes it was literally, oh my goodness, who knows the best locks for indoors? Because my child, who I didn't need to have locks on the doors, or I did when they were very small. Now I didn't need them for another 5 years. Now I need them, but they're this height, or, you know.
Mhm.
strength and what have you. So it was
So it's
literally,
not, so it's primarily parents providing resources for one another.
it's kind of that vibe, but I think also there is a they're all coming from a faith background as well, so that there is a sort of a biblical process to it, as well as regards to a focus for it, sorry, rather as regards to, okay, if there's a situation going on at school, or there's a situation, how as a, you know, how would you affect it, how would you do it as a parent anyway, but also with a theological background,
A
or whatever, you know,
gospel lens.
there we go, that
Yeah,
was the word I was
yeah.
looking for. Can't speak today, but
Okay.
yeah, so, but as because I'm not part of those discussions, I don't actually know every week what they've discussed.
But
But
you
I know,
have that couple in there to kind of
Yes.
guide the discussion.
yeah, so they're the ones that are leading it, because they've also experienced and been on that journey themselves. So, and it was their passion to be a support for the other parents.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
All right, I'm gonna call on Linda and then Skeeter. Oh, but while Linda's getting ready to unmute, Barb shared in the chat the link to Champions for Parents, which is Tom and Julie Meekins, who are usually on this, and they have great info. So check them out. Linda.
Okay, so for getting the fathers engaged with each other, we did this in Ukraine because we were trying to foster community like what you're doing. The guys got together and play soccer. This, well, football, whatever. But and then when we did the respite care in Germany, because they don't do babysitting, we are actually going again to do respite care, because I'm trying to get the local church to be involved in this, but we're going to try to get the fathers to have time, like either try to find out their interest. And we found that was having them together, but then also having the guys together and the women together separately was nice. And we did have like a pastor with the guys when they played football, and the women were with the leader of the preschool, Zoriana, who was at the disability of the church in Orlando. So I don't know, some of you might have met her. But that's an idea, is try to find their interest and see. I mean, don't they like football in England? You're in England, right? I'm just not actually going to assume that. But
maybe kickball would be a easier.
yeah, I mean, they really seem to enjoy it, and they carried it on until the pandemic. I'm not sure now with what's going on, if they're still, I knew the parents are still meeting that are in the city, but I don't know if they're doing like these little outside, because the fathers that have disabled children do not have to be conscripted to the war. So
Right. All right, we've got Skeeter and then Karen and then Andrea. Skeeter.
I'm going to brag on my church, but I need to put context in that 20 years ago, one mother called and said, "We're coming to church and our daughter is ... On a today's basis, there are over 250 folks affected by disabilities at one of the churches, 10 campuses. 2 years ago, the church bought an apartment complex and began to move in folks coming out of prison, people who've been trafficked, people in prostitution, people from other countries. All of them get up to 3 years to get their lives together with lots of help. They had begun to bring in some of our friends with disabilities, our adult friends with disabilities. In one case, it was a mom and a son. In other cases, it was adults with disabilities. And this, I mean, as much as anything, this is for all of us to pray about. We have under contract an assisted living facility. We'll empty out one floor of our children's building that's been used for central staff, put them in there, and then have, I think, something around 40 units for adults with disabilities to live with as much independence as possible. We're asking them if we can work on 10 of those rooms. That's a bold request on our part. It is exciting to think about the possibility. I remember one of the saddest days of my life was when I heard a mother say, "I'm 78, my husband is 82, our son is 56, and our greatest wish is that he die one day before we do," because they didn't know what was going to happen with their son. I don't know if it's going to work or not, but appreciate your prayers.
Absolutely.
The possibilities are amazing.
Yeah.
But please remember that 20 years ago, there was nothing in terms of disability ministry. And 17 years ago, we helped a mother find a place for she and her two daughters, one with significant disabilities, helped them find a place to live, and supported them. We are fortunate beyond anything we know for the folks that are out there doing ministry, and we just want to hang on. We want to be on. If we're on their coattails, that's fine. If we can help them, that's fine. But just the idea of, here's an assisted living place that wants to go out of business, and we can look at the possibility of taking that over and having a place for 40 or 50 folks with disabilities, adults with disabilities to live.
That's such a beautiful picture of the church coming alongside individuals and families impacted by disability. And how cool to see. I mean, you've literally seen it, how the ministry has grown and the impact that your church has had on the community these last 20 years. So thank you for your obedience and for the way your church is just like stepping in with faith. So that's great. Thank you for sharing, Skeeter.
Not much I know about this really super duper with our families and friends started with a big splash.
Yeah.
It started because one or two people were faithful, like the people on this call.
Yep. All right, Karen, let's hear from you.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. My name is Karen. I'm an occupational therapist and I work in a school. I'm on my lunch break right now, but at church, they're trying to start a ministry for children with disabilities and families with disabilities. And so I'm trying to, do what I do, help with the training aspect of the volunteers. We're just starting out. So all the ideas that I'm hearing is amazing. If you could give me any more information on how we could get started. The pastors have been talking about a component for the families, which is what you were just talking about, as far as supporting the parents as well. Right now, we're just getting buddies and volunteers together to just be with the children while the parents are able to go into service. But we are looking to do a respite night, possibly monthly, and just any ideas. We're working on a budget for this coming year so we can get a sensory room going. Like we're just starting out, but we want to do, and so any information would be appreciated. Thank you so much.
I love it. I love it. So first of all, you're in the right place, and you're starting off right. Like, you recognize the need, and it sounds like your church is behind this. So you're just trying to figure out next steps. There are a bunch of us here who I'm sure would love to help you out. I'm one of them. If you go to keyministry.org and click on contact, you can schedule a one-on-one meeting and we can talk through some of these things. And I know there are others on here that'll help you as well. So, yeah, I mean, I think you don't need to do all the things from the very beginning. Like, we're throwing out all these ideas here. You don't have to do all of them yet. But being able to welcome the families that are like already at your church is a really good way to start. Providing respite, either like just to the families that you're, if you're not ready to go big, yes, and people are putting their contact in the chat. But providing respite care is huge. That's like a thing that families are really wanting. So that's a great place to start as well. So yeah, this group would love to help you out. So I encourage you to reach out to anybody that is putting their information in the chat, and that includes Key Ministry. So, and we're glad you're here, Karen.
Thank you.
Oh, and Skeeter, he said it is FODAC, FODAC is the name of the organization that he referenced earlier. All right, and yeah, so lots of contact info going in the chat for you, Karen. You're going to be busy. All right, and Andrea, you had your hand up.
Yeah.
Andrea R.
So back to what Allison was saying earlier, and just see if anybody has any tips about doing extra things for the dads. Like I do a lot for the moms. We have a yearly retreat. We like in December, we're going to go eat dinner and go look at Christmas lights together. But it's been harder for me to come up with things to do for the dads because I'm a female, for one thing. Does anybody have any suggestions of things that they've
I'm
done?
like staring at Al because I want him to, I feel like Al would have an idea for this. I'm putting him on the spot, but totally putting him on the spot.
I'm sorry, I'm in the loudest cafe possible.
Oh,
I'm getting my
okay.
car work done, so I'm not hearing half of what's said. So I was in a French cafe last month too, so hopefully next month I'll be home or somewhere. But I'm sorry, I'm not hearing too much of this. So I missed
Okay.
most of what Andrea said. Sorry about that.
Okay, we'll catch him another time, but I feel like Al would have some good ideas for this. I'll message him. Let's see. What would you call that? Supporting dads? Okay. Okay. He might unmute and say something. We'll see. I'll give him a second. Anybody else want to share in the meantime? I know that there's some dads groups that do, what's the special, it's the one that has like the Superman cape kind of thing. I know Barb's nodding. I know Al would know this if he could hear me. And they do like wing nights and things like that, right? Dad's nights out kind of things.
I think it's called Special Fathers Network. Is that
Yes,
right?
that's what it's called. Me. Okay, I put that in the chat to Al. We'll see if that triggers anything. All right. Well, yeah, you might want to Google Special Fathers Network. I think it's based in Chicago. Okay, Al said he participated in a small weekly group of the Special Fathers Network for a year. That was helpful. Okay, so we were right about that. All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, so just a reminder that not this coming Wednesday, November 20th, which is the third Wednesday of the month, we will have our Disability Ministry Video Network. And again, we're going to be talking about kind of the holiday stress that families go through and how churches can support families. Our next idea share, I'm actually going to be traveling that day. And my new colleague, Lara, who's on this, although she doesn't have her camera on, she will be leading the idea share, which is Monday, December, there she is, Monday, December something, second, I think, Monday, December 2nd. So everybody, that's Lara. Lara, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
Okay, there she is.
Love the conversation.
All right. So she will be leading the idea share for December. And anyway, you'll love her. And I think that's about it. So Any last words? All right. Well, again, thank you all for your participation. This is always just such a fun group we got to meet Karen today, and I know many of you will support her going forward. And it was just great to hear from some of our regulars as well. So thank you all. We will see you on one of these very, very soon.
Thank you.